Of course not. All right, order away, sister. All right, we're going to call our meeting to order at 7:04 p.m. with a quorum present. All right. So we have an opportunity for citizens to address the park board, and I'm wondering if we have some citizens in the audience that are interested in addressing the park board, or if they're just here for visiting. So I would like to make special recognition to Council Member Broyles here with us today. So thank you for coming and being here with us. We appreciate it. And your name is, I just don't want to get it wrong. Kitty Words is also here with us today. Perfect. Thank you. And you're on EDCB. All right. Perfect. Items of community interest. We have the Haunted Hayride coming up on October the 29th that is put on by the fire department. And our other events, I guess we're going to discuss later, so we'll hold on to those. We will discuss and review the meetings from last meeting. You have those for us?
This is Barbara. I move that we accept the minutes as presented.
This is Cindy. I second.
All in favor? Passes. Discuss, consider, and act regarding our financial statement. Katrina, anything we need to notice?
If there are any questions.
Do we have any expenses from the last month to this month? Do you remember?
No, we paid the deposit for snow.
Okay.
That's the Christmas. And the rest of 4th of July, and we came in perfect. And
No, we count on you to make sure.
Yeah, Fund 15. Did the park fund development fee budget number somehow change? Because I feel like that was high relative to what was budgeted. I'm looking at that thinking, was it?
This is last year's budget, not next.
Okay. Wait. What's on screen is what I'm looking at.
So on our last one from July, the one that I have is July. I don't know where my August one is, but in July we had 397. I see what you're saying. It was the park fund development fee went from 50,000 to 275.
Yeah, that's where I'm looking at that thinking. Okay, because we were percent wise, we were like way over, and now they've
And then the EDC transfer and the capital project funds just flat over to cover court. So do we know why that went from 50 to 270?
That would be incoming park development fund fees, so,
From the new house?
yes.
Okay.
But without looking, I can't tell you exactly what it is, but it could have been paid in one lump sum.
I think last time we were talking that it hadn't gone up a lot because it had slowed down and they said that they weren't getting a lot of permits and it seemed kind of low. That must just be where it caught up.
No, I thought we budgeted conservatively, which was
this-
the 50,000, and the actual was like 250 or something
Yeah.
like that.
It is.
But now it's just showing as budgeted at 275, which is why I'm scratching my head.
She, at the end of the year, they reconcile all of them to show actual numbers for the end of the year.
Okay, so the
So this
adopted
budget is basically end of year. This is how
Okay.
much,
That's
yeah, this is all end of year stuff. Yeah, as close
But
as she can get.
it ends. Sorry, fiscal year starts October 1. Then.
Mhm.
I see what you're asking though, because it's under the line adopted budget versus August actual.
Yeah, that's why I got completely. The numbers are too close to.
Like what, we didn't have any budget change for it to be an adopted budget change. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, the actuals.
Like, is it in the right column? That's what we're asking. Like, we understand that that's the income. But if we didn't budget for that income, why is the budgeted line so much higher?
That's what I'm talking about. She reconciles the actuals with, at the very last end of the year, she reconciles.
Expected. At
Yeah,
the-
because I do the same thing. I may predict we're going to get 1.5 million in water revenue. But if revenue goes up the last month of the year, which is this month, she reconciles if we went up and we got 1.7. Well, she starts showing the 1.7 because when she does the calculation, taking out where we're going to start the next year, that's the numbers she's using, is what's left in that account to start next year's budget.
So I'm really technical, and now you're getting me stuck on this. Because it says adopted budget, that means that it was approved as a budgetary change. So should that just have a different heading? Because it's not a budget if we didn't plan it, right? Do I not understand what the word budget means?
Yeah, I understand what
I
staff
know I
is
understand what
doing.
you're saying, that it's reconciled,
I
but
think when I initially saw it, I got confused, thinking, okay, I must be looking at something different because
Well,
this is not.
it would be nice if on this report it said adopted budget / adjusted for end of year or something. And it's implied, but it just doesn't state that.
Sorry. I'm comfortable with.
I guess I don't understand how it's an adopted budget. Because in my head, that would have had to have been approved to have a budget change. Like, it's more of an actual, it should be in the actual column as a reconcile, right? If it went from 50 to 275, but nobody ever changed the budget, like the budget is what? So if I budget $50 for my lunch and then I get an extra $50, I can't just go back and be like, oh, I have $100. I still had 50. I just have the extra 50, but it's not part of the budget. I'm being very technical. I apologize, but I feel like it's in the wrong category. Or it needs to be it needs to say reconciled or something.
You've got it from last month. The actual numbers are consistent with what we've been seeing.
No, I
So
know,
yeah,
but
there's
it's
no.
just, now
I understand where you're coming from. I understand why staff would do it. I don't think it's.
This is Barbara, I move that we accept the August, it says August 2022, but should it say September at the top? Okay. I move that we accept the August 2022 budget report as presented.
I'll move to approve.
All in favor? Any opposed? No. All right. We have an action item here for the previously discussed equipment for checkout at the library. And I did happen to talk to Barbara one day this week when I was at the library, and she was ready for them. I don't know where she's going to put them, but she said, bring it on. So We're ready if y'all are ready. Remind me where the funds for this are coming from. Where did community outreach? And so we have how much in that fund? Okay. So I know that James had brought up concern about lost discs in the Frisbee golf. And I kind of talked to Barbara about that as well. And I don't know that I really have a solution for it other than to just buy cheap ones. So if they get lost. Mm-hmm. Because you check it out for free at the library anyway. We're just going to anticipate they're going to be lost.
I have a question. Wouldn't it be handled like a library book? If somebody loses a library book, what happens? That's right. So that's the risk of checking something out.
I'm not very good at disc golf. I do like playing. I donated one over the weekend to the water. So I think you are going to lose them. And why set yourselves up to lose them? And, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can do like packs of 3, like they have like a driver, mid-range putter, or y'all could just flat out not rent them, just depending on how much of a burden it would be to sell them. But I would agree on selling them, not renting them, because you will lose them.
Oh yeah, you will.
100% agree.
Believe me, you will. Every year when it goes dry, our guys rake in, I don't know how many.
So I have a list of things, and I would like you to still consider adding one set. It's one of the things that they have down in Benbrook as one of their items, and they don't have the same water feature, I'm assuming, that we have, so it's probably not as big of a loss. But honestly, I'm very frugal, and I did a lot of research, and I found a set of 8. So it's 7, 2 drivers, 2 mid-range, 2 putters, 1 marker. It comes with a carrying bag, and it's only $40. So honestly, if somebody loses one, they're still going to have 6 left to try it out. It's just to teach them the game. When they're gone, they're gone. We can replace them as we need to. That would be my opinion.
The problem is you're going to lose 1 out of 8, and now you have to charge for a set, and now you're going to have an incomplete set, and then they've got to keep up with this set that doesn't have 8, and I would just sell them or not rent them at all.
I would have to talk to Barbara. I didn't talk to her about that. I was thinking of a checkout system as this. So let me just show you the rest of the things, and y'all can decide. So the things that I looked up, because they're things that we sponsor in the park. So there's a yoga and a Tai Chi. Yoga and Tai Chi. So I have never done yoga with the professional blocks and ropes, and so I don't have one. And so for me, that was another thing. This is a picture from the library that I actually took down at Benbrook, where they have their stuff on display, and it comes all wrapped up in a package. And there's a picture of it, and I think Barbara has some sort of like exchange system idea. But Cindy and I were talking about it, and if somebody wanted to try out yoga without having to go buy a block and a mat and a cord, yeah, it's only $26 for the black set or $32 for the blue set. But do I want to spend $25 if I don't have to? I can go check it out from the library, go to yoga that week, bring it back next week, somebody else can try it out. So the yoga set, there's one for 26, one for 32. Comes with a mat 2 blocks. Does that seem like that's appropriate for what you need to try out yoga? And the little stretchy cord thingy. And then this is a very inexpensive horseshoe set because I have looked into putting a horseshoe pit in my yard, and you can buy one horseshoe for upwards of $80. So this one is a regulation game set that has 4 horseshoes. It comes with 2 stakes, but we already have the stakes set up out there. So I think we just are, needing the horseshoes. And it's $42.99 for the set with the bag at Amazon. And then the golf set was $40. I think that was the best one that I could find. They have a smaller one, but I think it's only 6, and it's $28.99, but it doesn't come with as good of a bag, so we could get this smaller set down here that was $30. And then a very inexpensive pickleball set. Of course, it comes with no net or anything, but it was $42.49. And I know that you wanted to look for something better, but
And I had sent you some information on that, so I didn't bring it. 'Cause-
Katrina printed these out.
Okay,
Do you remember how much it was?
I don't. I'll have to look it
So
up
as a
again.
pickleball player, it was suggested that we get a better quality. Apparently, these are not very good.
The wooden ones are about worthless. You can get the cheapest.
But I mean, if we have
Above that.
200, we have $2,000, not 200.
And you can get a nice set of pickleball in a case with 4 balls
And how
for
much is that?
around $40
Okay.
on Amazon. So
Okay.
Barbara and I can pick one out.
So those are the prices that we have. It's about $40 for each thing.
So sorry.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not cutting you off. Is that your entire list? Because maybe,
No, that
See
was
if-
just what I came up with, and I'm open to anybody that wants to have any other idea of, I mean, if somebody wants to put a basketball in there, or a soccer ball, or,
so-
something else you can come up with, it doesn't matter to me. I just came up with the idea because I was visiting another library that had really cool stuff, and I talked to our librarian about it, and I said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if the park did a park activity? Because we're a park board to get people into the park.
Yeah.
And so what better way to get somebody playing pickleball who doesn't have anything to play than to let them be able to check out a set from the library?
Well,
So-
my question on that, if you don't mind, is that we also would need a net for them to check out. Because if
I
a
would find it was-
family,
I was in, where was it? Dick's?
Mhm.
Over here, I think it's like $70 for a set that comes with, and it was not really plastic paddle. I don't know what they is. Some kind of plastic type material paddle. It wasn't really plastic. They're pretty hard, and it had a net.
well, one thing we have to make sure is that it's the regulation net and not a practice net. And we
Oh,
know
yeah,
that
there's
from
one right there.
people,
Oh, that's at Academy. Well, that
see,
might have been.
that's
Yeah.
that's a half court, so that wouldn't fit on our lines.
Yeah, that's a small.
Yep. That's one you can set up on your driveway.
So let me make a suggestion. Let's maybe put everything on the table in terms of what we want, and then get specific about each item. Like, do you want the pickleball set, or
Does
just
anyone
one
have any
thing,
other
or-
items that they might want to
So,
add?
yeah, basketball,
Basketball?
football, soccer, ball,
So
volleyball.
balls.
Yeah, just
Okay.
roll them all out there. Yeah. I'm not sure. If it's basketball, football,
And of course, these are
soccer,
only available for
volleyball.
checkout when the library's open. Like, we don't have extra extended hours. So if you show up on a Friday night and the library's closed, you can't check it out. So you'll have to be able to plan ahead, beforehand. Oh, I'm gonna go play tennis next weekend. Let me get some tennis balls.
I think a volleyball net's up. Yeah. One of those kickballs would be the other thing. Might.
So basket, kick, football, volleyball, soccer. Those are usually what, $5 or $10? Like basic.
What's our annual budget for the park for that?
So that's what I was asking when we started. We have a community outreach fund that we can access the funds from there, and it's totaled at $2,000.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have to spend it all. I just thought it'd be nice to have some balls and, no, probably not, hopefully.
So anything else to the list, and then we can maybe talk specifically about like ball sizes or kits and things like that.
Frisbee golf. I don't think we have anywhere putting range or anything.
You could get a just normal frisbee, like just
Frisbee.
normal
Mm-hmm.
frisbee. I don't know what they're frisbee.
Those are probably adult.
Yeah, I mean, you want a
Right.
super cheap one, but yeah,
just
they're
the Frisbee.
relatively
Do we
cheap.
still have Haslet Frisbees? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So horseshoes, Frisbee golf, pickleball, sports balls, yoga, Frisbee. Anything else?
Volleyball,
Well,
soccer,
later
basketball.
tennis, but, and it would be nice to have.
Probably wouldn't
Some-
buy it before it's there,
Right,
though.
right, but I'm saying we just need to kind of know that that would be coming after those are built.
Sure.
And have youth size and adult size, some inexpensive rackets.
Are there different sizes for pickleball?
No.
Making sure.
The net, when I look on Amazon, run from a full-size net, runs at the less expensive end is $64 to $70 are the two cheapest ones. You can pay more. I paid $150 for mine.
Okay, so let's start with pickleball. Net is 63, and what?
Oh, here's your one. Whole set, graphite paddles, comes with a duffel bag, a metal, USAPA approved regulation size net and paddles for $199.97, $200.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That sounds
ROBIMS. Rob.
Cindy, I go with the less expensive.
Okay. All right.
One-
Anyone want to motion one thing? We're going to go one thing at a time, right? So let's do pickleball.
Well, yeah, I would suggest let's get pretty specific on, is it just a net? Is it two paddles? Is it two paddles and one ball? Is it two paddles, three? You know,
Yeah,
like,
We need,
really.
we need 4 paddles.
Are there 4 in that one, David?
One thing that I do
It
want to
has
make
4
sure
of
the
them and 8
librarian
balls.
knows that
Fine.
there will need to be instructions on how to unassemble. Usually it's pretty easy to assemble the net, but if you don't roll it up right, it will take up almost an hour to untangle it, and you can ask me how I know.
So I think the limitations as a library user, personally, are just going to be people's ability to read and their compliance, and I don't think there's
Right.
anything we're going to be able to do about it.
Right, but I just think we're going to need to put in some instructions.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah,
From
there's
this
usually a
group.
printout.
Yeah.
So like my kids get the magnetic toys that they play with.
Right.
And we take it home and they count it. And then we get home and we look for it. I lost something one time.
Yeah,
I lost something one time and I had
That's
Cindy
true.
helping me find, because I needed to find this replacement part. I didn't have the part to return. It was a screw. Yeah, it was a little screw. And we ended up finding it at my house. It had fallen, under the bench in the kitchen. But, they counted and they put it. So things are going to get lost and they're going to, need to be replaced. So. But yes, that would be wonderful if there was like a laminated sheet that had instructions for putting up, taking down for each activity. Maybe rules of the game, something like that. Does that look okay? Perfect. You motion for the one. Can we do each
This-
item?
This is Barbara. I move that we purchase the Robbins portable pickleball set with a net for paddles, balls, and a storage system for $200.
This is Cindy, I second.
All in favor of the pickleball set? Third, you in or out? All opposed?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, all right. All approved. So that's 200 yoga.
This is Cindy. I'd like to make a motion that we purchase the yoga set with the mat, block, strap, and the bag for $30 or less.
Sarah, I'll second that. All in favor? None opposed? Nice little yoga mat kit here. And it's just something like, whatever. Well, we'll give that to you. Then what's next?
This is Cindy. I'd like to make a motion that we purchase the horseshoe set for $40. 43. Sorry. All right, let me amend that. I'm gonna make a motion that we purchase a horseshoe set for 45.
No, second.
All in favor? Horseshoes good? You pulled some sports balls. Are there any like sports ball package maybe that's like one of each?
I mean, we might want to just generically capture all of it, you know, one outdoor basketball, size 3 soccer ball, size 5 soccer ball, frisbee, one outdoor volleyball, bag of balls.
55 bucks?
This is Barbara. I'll move that we buy a variety bag of outdoor balls for $75.
Good to me.
This is Cindy. I'll second.
All in favor? Perfect. Basketball. That literally had all of that was disc golf. Disc golf.
On the disc golf, what I wonder, why don't we get the $40 set and then go ahead and order the extra disc?
Can you order just spare? I didn't even look that up. Can you order spare discs on there? I don't even know what. I don't play disc golf, so I.
Yeah. Only difference in those sets, you have drivers and stuff that do different things. So you lose one and you may not be able to do one thing. Yeah, they got a different weight, different.
But this particular set here just kind of has 2 of each: the mid,
Yeah.
the putter, the driver.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of
That's
like.
enough for 2 people to go play.
But I mean, if we got
Yeah.
2 sets of this, right, for $40, and 4 sets altogether. I don't know. What do I know?
I just think you're going to lose these things.
No, I know
And
we're
then
going to lose
when
them. Yeah, that's not a question.
Yeah, what I think I would do
People
is,
lose library books.
but I think I would order basically 3 different kinds.
Okay.
I'm picking up 10, whatever.
Sure.
Putter, mid-range, driver. Pick 3 different discs, order a quantity of them.
Oh, I see what you're saying. And then just
Yes.
make
And
sets
then,
as they go.
and then, okay, 2 people want to play putter, mid-range, driver, here you go. I mean, that starter set, that $25, kind of, or yeah.
Is this just a horrible set? I really don't. Look at
I
that.
mean, I'm not very good, but they do different things. They fly differently. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much.
It just seems if you buy them in quantity, you'd probably get a better price than buying multiple of the 3 disc sets.
I've never seen them available that way, and I spent a lot of time looking, so I just didn't know to look for that though either.
Can we just make a motion to, I don't know if staff has a better idea, but just say, hey, up to ask staff to buy.
Up to $100 worth of discs.
Yeah, that's fine.
Probably, yeah.
And we'll figure out something. And then I guess when we find one, we can turn them in and add to the kit.
I mean, that's
Because the guys do find them fairly often.
I have to write my name on it. Finding discs
Yeah,
for people.
we've had some. They have found some that turned out to be quite expensive, and nobody put their name or anything on there to be able to even know who it was. And it's like, wouldn't you just at least put your name or your phone number or something? Some way somebody might know.
So as a non-disc golf player,
Sure.
if I was going to the library to check out disc, whatever they call
Yes.
them. I would have no clue if I've got
Me
a
either. I would
driver.
want it in a set. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I understand if I would have no clue what I would need. I just need a Frisbee. I want to play disc golf.
Right.
I mean, that's the way I
Right.
look at it.
I'd need someone to hand me a set of 3 and say, try
No.
these 3 out. And I wouldn't care if it was mid whatever. I wouldn't really know.
If I play all the time,
Hopefully
then I
you
would
have your
know,
own, right?
hey, I want a driver, I want a putter, I want this. It's like Barbara with your pickleball, you know you want certain racket.
Right.
This thing, for me,
I could use a wooden pickleball racket and be fine
Yeah.
because I wouldn't know any different because I don't play.
So up to $100.
Okay.
Have staff
$100
come
disc
up
golf.
with a good solution. or
Motion
whatever they-
made.
Yes, that's a motion.
Barbara
However
will
you wanna
second
word
it.
There we go.
I'll second.
I'm just going to throw a Frisbee. All right, so that was Matt that motioned. And second, all in favor? Good, passes. $100 for disc golf. And then what else do we want to do? A Frisbee? Just like a plain Frisbee to throw around?
So ultimate Frisbee is like
Right.
a sport. So if you're doing something like that, pick something.
Want a motion?
$35 on ultimate Frisbee disc.
what's the difference of those?
Disc golf. You don't really want to try to. These
Alright,
are
this is
thicker.
in-
Yeah, you don't wanna
Catch.
catch those disc golf, some of the things like that, take the ball, if they hit you, man, they would hurt.
This
Church
is
is going to
Cindy.
be playing disc golf with
I'm gonna have
regular
to try
Frisbees.
now.
I'd like to make a motion that we buy 3 of the
Ultimate
Frisbees for the
$1.
um, $35.
Cindy motion. Third, second, all in favor? None opposed? Well, I'm excited about it.
I do remember seeing
Okay,
in
so-
the catalog.
Do we have more?
Go ahead, I interrupted
I do
you.
remember seeing in the catalog that they had like a very small microscope that they keep the kids to check out. Yeah. So if we could find one of those,
May I just throw it out there that the library is also budgeting to buy several things that they're going to be adding to this new collection to check out as well.
It's not specifically park related.
Not really a sport, but cornhole's a activity outdoors.
Oh, that would be
I
fun.
just saw some bags up there, kind of. Yeah, there you go.
I just saw one for a good
James
price
has been
at,
wanting to
uh,
build one of
Ollie's.
those for, what, past year, 2 years?
I'm
Put
over
the
at my
Haslet
house, we'll build
logo
one
right in
together. Can we install a cornhole board? Like, can you put it in the ground just next to it and leave the horseshoe for a little while? No. No, the actual kit.
No, the board's like steel or concrete or something. It's like it's somewhat permanent. Yeah.
well, then if that's going to happen, then we just voted to buy horseshoes for something we don't need. So maybe I should move that we cancel ordering horseshoes with this new information, that we won't have a horseshoe.
That was just an idea.
Has anyone seen anyone playing horseshoes?
No, because I have horseshoes in my trunk, and I never remember to bring them to play there. There's not horseshoes available.
You can literally set up cornhole anywhere. You don't have to
Correct.
take out the.
Correct.
So I'm saying.
And I actually try to put a horseshoe pit in my yard, and there's a lot of regulation. You have to dig it so deep, and it has to be so many square feet by whatever, and the throw has to be so many feet back, and I kind of got lost. So I only have one horseshoe pit in my backyard, but I know where the other one would go if I ever get to putting that second one in. So it'd be great for me, who doesn't really play horseshoes, to go to the park and check out some horseshoes that won't break on the concrete and throw them around.
I don't like the idea of taking something out of the park, especially since it's not like it's restricting you from doing anything else in the park.
Right,
I mean,
right.
it's such a small
I agree.
footprint. So
I like the horseshoes.
if there's a maintenance issue, that's I'm sympathetic to it.
Can we cover it with rubber? But we could get some $100 portable ones and check them out from the library, and that wouldn't be bad.
I would under $100 the whole set. I think.
I can make y'all some.
Yeah,
I just happened to see some. I was at Ollie's clearance store today, and they have a whole bunch of them there on clearance. I don't remember because I did notice them, but I wasn't shopping for one, so I didn't. It's a clearance store over in South Fort Worth called Ollie's.
Can you roll that down a little bit? So in my experience, these ones that have the fold-out legs, the legs break off pretty easy. Is there a different style where the leg is like all one piece versus the two individual legs? I don't know.
Oh,
Because what happens is I actually saw these at a party one time too, and people just let their kids run across the top of them, and then they just. Yeah.
well, those collapsible ones, then it wouldn't hurt because they are supposed to collapse. The ones that were up
Little
above.
pop-up one.
Why don't we just make a recommendation to have staff spend up to $100 on a whole cornhole set? They could
Perfect.
find something that they think is of good quality
With bags, sleeping bags.
with bags. The whole
Cornhole
set.
Do consider the weight of it if it's going to be checked out from the library.
So maybe that little pop-up one is a good one. Can we defer that to staff to make the decision on the weight and stuff if we just do $1? Before, yes. I just want to make sure that's okay, that we don't give like any, it doesn't have to be specific. We can just say, Katrina can pick whatever cornhole kit she'd like up to X amount of dollars. Can we make that? Okay, okay. Either way.
I guess technically there's nothing
We can't,
stopping
right,
them.
we can't
Yeah.
restrict whether they take it home.
So up to
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think the permanent structures I don't think I'd go there. So up to $200 for staff to find a suitable cornhole set in their eyes.
It's Cindy, I second.
All in favor? Perfect. Okay. All right, now we have anything else? All right. Update and discussion regarding the tennis court project. What do you got for us, David? New plan. Okay.
So we wanted y'all to run back through them one last time, make sure we captured all of the changes y'all had from last time. I believe we did, but thought we'd let y'all look back through them.
Okay.
one more time, and then I can tell you what the schedule kind of works out to meet all the requirements we have to for going out to bid. So you see, we moved the sidewalk. Instead of coming in the side, it goes up center of the courts in the back. And that's, of course, details of how the drains and all are going to work on the site. And then you see we have 2 gates up at that end, so you can enter from either court. With a fence down the middle, we widened the whole site out, put 2 benches back to back in the center with a 4-foot space on either side so that they would meet ADA requirement for people to be able to pass from one side to the other. And then we have talked about this over and over, and we decided we're going to put it out with a bid for both a cable style foundation, because we have some people that swear by it, but some people tell us it's also quite expensive to go that route, and also conventional rebar mat to be used. That way we can get the price on both of them. Y'all will be able to decide at that point, yeah, man, we either, yes, we like that, or no, we don't want to spend that much money. That will be something y'all can look at, because for these, it's not like your home foundation. To do one for a tennis court, the cable style is quite expensive, because it has to be done exactly right. If it's missed wrong at all, then it ruins the court.
Will the standard concrete, though, be susceptible to cracking?
They both are. In our soil, everything's will too, but the cable kind, if they get it off wrong, tension it slightly wrong one way or the other, your court can end up with waves in it, or it can end up with a bow. I've actually seen one that happened to them, and the court ended up, you got this spot, so when you're running across it, you don't see it looking at it till you get out there walking on it, and you'll feel it. It goes up like this. And so when you're playing and you run over that, it is not fun. It is. It scares the crap out of you the first time you see it until you figure it out.
Change the direction of the ball.
It does. So, but there are people out there who know how to do it and know how to do it right. But, you know, their price might be more than we want to spend. But we figured we'd at least put it out that way, so we'll see what it comes back. And then this is the layouts, how the stripes and everything kind of fit in to how ones look. And these are modeled after, I believe it's Trophy Club or Northwest. Somebody has these. I know we stole this from somebody. Hey, that much.
It's just the,
My only concern about putting the pickleball courts this direction is that then they're facing east-west.
That's true.
And so
If you turn them the other way, I don't know all about this. All I can tell you is I was told by tennis people they hated it if you turned it the other way because it put too many lines, made things too confusing. And then I've had others tell me, no, that's the best way. And then I've had others tell me, no, always do it crossways, because then you get more and the room works out better. I don't know. I just know that's what I can tell you. When I went to Robeson, this is the way Robeson Ranch had theirs set up. And this is what Trophy Club has set up. I know those 2 places. That's the only 2 I can tell you I've actually seen.
my comment would be that Haslet has a population of 2,000. I know that we share with other neighboring cities. But if there's only one pickleball on one side and one tennis court on the other, that's still 2 pickleball courts or 2 tennis courts that we didn't have before.
Yeah, and you can, this was a question too, y'all. Do y'all want it, if you do this, do you want it striped where you could have 4 pickleball and 2 tennis? Because this is just showing you this is the way they lay out, but you
But
could
if
do
you
it.
turn the pickleball the
The
other
ones
direction.
at Trophy Club, every court is laid out that way. Exactly. Every single one of them.
So when I see this drawing, my assumption is you're only telling me dimensions, but you're actually going to stripe both. Are you saying you're only going to stripe one?
No, this is the striping for the 2 courts, but you do not have to stripe. You can stripe one and leave it as tennis only, dedicated tennis, and that's what it is. Or you can have it set up like the one over on the left-hand side there.
So it
Seems
would
like
be
you
2
would stripe
tennis, 4
both.
pickleball.
No. You want 4 pickleball, they either gotta be, if you put them north-south, you can only get 2 and 2. No matter what you do, it's 2 and 2. You can get 2 on the left, 2 on the right.
I can't imagine you wouldn't want to strike both.
Can you have the pickleball court striped one way on one court and the other way on another court?
No, that turns into confusion.
$26. 100.
By 120. Yeah, you can.
They can turn
You
them
can
the
turn the
other
courts
way.
this way, but then your net, you have to deal with your tennis net also. Mhm. But
That-
the complaint I had, at least this is what I was told by somebody who does tennis, was that when you turned it that way, now your black lines and your white lines are like, I don't know, 2 feet apart or
Overlapping.
something. They're close together. And they said it was too distracting if you play tennis. So, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I don't play enough of, I've played both, but I have not played enough of either one of them to tell you it's that big a deal.
But are you playing tennis on them or are you playing pickleball on them?
It's fine for pickleball.
Are you playing
But
tennis
it's not
or are you
fine
playing
for
pickleball?
tennis.
Yeah, that's
So
what
it's
I
for
was
the
told.
tennis players, since we're building tennis courts, we want to take into consideration also the people that are playing tennis. Yes. Well, let me ask you this, David, can you paint those later? Like if we just do 2 on one side and leave the other one blank, can you add
You
them later?
can, but I mean, it's best to get it done with the deal
Get it-
because the
get
kind
it
of
done.
paint they use and all, it's kind of embedded in everything, so it,
Well, and the other issue is we are not setting this up to have the tournament done by
right.
the group that's outside of us. The purpose is to have
Mhm.
Tennis court.
tennis courts and available
Available.
pickleball courts. And
That's
we
why
would
we
still
did it like
have,
this, so that you had one that's just perfect. It's just tennis, 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 and then this other one could be either way. They gave you a, option. You weren't stuck either way.
I really like that because I think that way the tennis players won't feel excluded.
These were sold as tennis courts.
They're always sold as multi-purpose courts from the beginning.
Yeah.
Of-
Started
of
out as a
time.
multi-purpose
Before
court.
you were president.
The multi-purpose court got squashed for tennis court.
Well, it's okay.
I'd have to pull up the meeting notes to see how the funds were approved from the EDC board. to add
I
that
went to
addition.
that meeting. It was discussed as a multi-purpose court. Even though when we talked about it, it was a tennis court. It was always going to be a multi-purpose court. I mean, that's what was voted on by us and presented to the city council. I'm 100% sure because I
So-
went to all of those meetings.
Let me just give my opinion on what I see on screen. I am indifferent, and I understand both sides of the argument in painting east-west versus north-south. So whatever anyone else decides, I'm with y'all. I do feel strongly that both sides should be painted the same. Yes. And I'm just concerned, you got 2 people playing tennis, person on the right leaves, person on the left still there playing tennis, pickleballers show up. Like, I just, maximum flexibility, paint both sides, just move on. So I feel strongly is the right word, but I would definitely think we ought to paint both sides the same and immediately up front. Whether you all want to do north-south or east-west, I would defer that to whatever your all's opinions are.
So my opinion's a little bit different. I prefer the method you shown right here on this thing. Because if I'm playing tennis, I'm a tennis player. If I go there and there's just pickleballs and there's pickleball people playing, I've been left out playing tennis. Meaning, now I can at least have a court to play tennis, and the pickleball people can share that court for themselves. So it kind of is either or. And I know if we paint both courts as pickleballs, and yeah, the tennis players can play. And I play tennis. Lines do distract me, for me. They have distracted.
I appreciate you saying that. And the other thing now I just lost it, so never mind. Went out of my head. Oh, what I was going to say was that, let's just say that I get there's 2 tennis players on the right court. So I start playing tennis on the left court. The first group of tennis players, they leave, and some pickleball players show up. It is so easy to say,
Yeah.
hang on, as soon as we change serve, we'll move to the other court.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we do over here when somebody comes up and wants to play basketball when we're playing pickleball. We just move out of the way.
Just common courtesy.
Well, that's kind of why we did it that way, so as you had the dedicated either way. Pickleball people show up, there's their place over there, so that it still left tennis a place. They wouldn't take up everything at one time.
This is my only, usually the fence that's between tennis courts is not as tall. It's usually, So what I'm saying is, with the pickleball court oriented the way they are, if you have both sports going on, it's more likely that a pickleball could fly into the path of a tennis player.
And that was our other question is, do you want the lower fence, or would you rather have the same height, or an 8-foot instead of the 10 if you wanted to go littler? But we kind of either go all 10 or go the 10 and the 3.
Well, and
it didn't matter to us. We've heard different opinions from lots of people. We heard exactly what you're saying when they talked about having pickleball courts on the same facilities. That I know Trophy Club told us they wish they'd have had the taller fence.
Well,
between them.
the way to avoid that is to have them oriented the other way.
Right.
And then they're not going to fly over that. I mean, it still could happen occasionally, but it wouldn't happen.
And that's
as
what we
often.
were saying. If y'all want those turned that way, that's fine too.
So
We
here's
don't care. It's just tennis players may not like that one, but they have their own dedicated. So we were like, it could go either way for us.
could
We
go
didn't
either
really
way.
matter one way or the other. If y'all
What
like
do
them
you
turned,
No,
about
and
that?
if you
You
like
know,
them
I'm
turned painted
flexible
that
with
way, then we can leave the 3-foot fence and
Right.
not have to worry about it.
Well,
Or-
that would be more cost effective to leave the 3-foot fence, and because the other is just paint. So that could be, if it was oriented north-south, it would be better for the pickleball players to not be looking into the sun
correct.
as well. So
Okay.
So my
and-
non-playing opinion would be, if there's concern that a tennis player wants to have the tennis court without lines, because if you don't play pickleball and tennis, and you're there to play tennis, and the orientation of pickleball court is better the other way, then yes, I agree with both of you that, Matt, it looks better to have all 4 painted this way, but if we're going to turn it the other way, I say only do one side. Because then it's the 2 pickleballs in the direction that you want it in the tennis court. And I'm going to go ahead and bring something up. So when I got married, I'll give you a little old person story here. I got tired of planning, and I told my husband that we just needed to elope. And he said, absolutely not. You told me you wanted to get married in a church. We're going to get married in a church. So we got married in a church instead of eloping. Okay, I'm digressing. When I started on this park board as an alternate member, all I heard sung to me was tennis court, tennis court, tennis court. And so I understand that times have changed and things have adapted, but for 3.5 years, I've heard tennis court, tennis court, tennis court, and I need to see a really good tennis court out there when this is done.
Yeah.
So although I appreciate the fact that people also want to play pickleball and make it a multi-purpose sport, for people who only play tennis, I also want to see them have a good tennis court, at least just one. So if we turn these the other way and painted one side, because I don't know anything about pickleball, I'm just telling you what I'm observing. If we wanted to go north-south, we're just going to put the pickleball on one side and leave the other one tennis only, or leave them this way, and I don't know what else to say.
well,
But we have to appreciate the fact that there's another tennis player on the board who has said it's
Yeah.
distracting to
In
him.
north-south, I'm okay with north.
So double lines on double sides is not distracting to tennis players.
if they're white and black and white. Yeah, and I played, and you will get used to it, and I agree with you.
And the other thing the way I've seen the lines drawn on is that the pickleball lines are not on top of the tennis lines. And that is, and I'll give you another example. When, like at the high school, some of their courts have the junior lines for tennis, and they're painted a lighter color, and they don't go on top of the regular tennis lines. And so just like with the pickleball, if it's rotated and you're not going to be using any of the white tennis lines for the pickleball lines, then it's easier to filter them out in your brain. I don't like the way the white line there, it's turned into black instead. I think
Center line, there still will be some rotated. The center line, right? So it's white.
No, it's moved back. You move it back. You only need like 5 feet between the back line and the fence.
Black lines under black. Yeah. Now, like I say, and that's kind of, originally we had it that way, but I don't know, I'll find show a couple of people who did play tennis, and oh, no. That one's full blown tennis, set up, everything. The one either way.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah.
No, because that's one.
No, that's a junior.
No,
I think
yeah,
that's a
it's
junior.
not.
That's junior. Yeah, we had that. Paint on one, and it's like, man, we're getting into too many paint colors would really make it really distracting. So he's like, pickleball and tennis is about as far as we can go.
So north-south orientation, but
Yeah.
generally we only want to paint one side. Is that what people are?
All the lines are slightly different, but they back it up. Oh. Just far enough to where you have a double line and
The orange. There's a slide.
Yeah. I'm good with that one, Barbara. That was, I'm afraid pickleball is much bigger players. You can see just
that one's just using one. That one's using one. That's a shared net one. Yeah, they don't work out quite the same.
So I want to see if I understand this consensus. Do we want 2 pickleballs in the north-south direction underpainted on one side only? Correct? And then leave one
I'd be okay with
dedicated
that, yes.
tennis, and then we still have the basketball courts available if you want to flow over to 2. There's 2 that are all shared. Yeah. And then there's basketball, 2 half courts for basketball. Just depends on what sport it's going to be at that. Yeah. Oh, how fun. North, south, one side, 2 courts.
North-south on the one set court. Okay.
2 unique other nets. So how do the nets work on that? Are there holes in the ground where you drop them in, or do you have to bring your own net? Or are you checking out the library? All right, game on. Can you go back to sheet 6 real fast? I have a question. Will you back it
I
up
think
to
so.
sheet 6?
We'll see. Yep. Thought it would. It goes forward, but it doesn't want to go. There it goes.
I have a question about this particular picture. That disc golf that's there, is that going to be moved, or is that
Yep.
going to be distracting that it's right on
No,
the
it will
fence?
be moved.
Okay. I was just making sure. Okay, proceed. Thank you. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. That's the other way they do them. And there's enough room to do either turn either direction, so.
See, I like that much better. It's less distracting.
Okay, well then
I mean, when I
that's
look at those lines, it's not.
simple enough. That's easy
Yeah.
enough for me to do.
All right.
We can get that changed fast. That's simple. Yeah, we had it laid out originally going north-south until, like I said, we had 3 or 4 people, they sent it to, who was it? Some group at some place, and they go, oh, no, you want to do it this way. So that works for us.
Okay.
They'll like that because we can go back to number 1. Yeah, then. No, they'd be too small. You'd have to have, because they have to be bigger around to go up higher.
That's how it is at all.
All right. Cool enough.
Do you have any more
All right.
slides, or is that it?
Sorry, the lights are alternate bid, or what are we doing on the lights?
Yes, the lights will be in there as a bid alternate also, just like we were going to do the 2 types of foundation. The lights will be in there as a bid alternate also.
Center lights are in there? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we'll have bids next meeting?
No, by the time they go out to hit the road for the time period you have to have them out, they will be at your, that's why I got a whole list here. It tells you exactly how long it takes to do each piece.
Okay.
Well, what would happen is that the bid would go into the paper, because we have to put it in the paper, and we have to, it has to be published for at least 14 days apart. So we have to do it twice, 14 days period. We were going to try to get them in last of this month, first of next month at best, if you know what y'all had changes wise. So that would put us getting them out on the street, getting them done, getting them back in. So by the time we got them back, opened them, compiled them, checked out all the people, checked their references, did all that stuff, it would be to your November meeting for y'all to make recommendations to approve, through the bidders when y'all see them. Then that would go to council at that last meeting of their month for them to make sure it hits everything right. And then to the contractor. Contractor has December to get all of his bid bonds, payment bonds, all of his stuff, all his insurances and all those things signed and turned in. And then he would be starting, which works out really well for everything because that keeps them from being in the park during Christmas. So we can get through the Christmas season. They'll start right after the first of the year, and that's when all their workers are back anyway, so they can hit the ground running.
How many days in the contract are you writing in there?
Right now, we're thinking probably, we've talked to a couple of people, 90 days, they say. And I'm like, really?
So you're
I
writing
think-
in 120, 180?
I think we're going to 120 because 90 seems awful short. They go, oh no, we'll be done and out of there long before that. Yeah, no, we're going to go a little bit longer because there's always something happens. We'll have another snowmageddon or something, then we'll lose 2 weeks of work. So something will happen. So, but that's what we're shooting for right now. So that y'all would see this your November meeting, ready to go, approve whoever comes in with a good price. Yeah. So it sounds good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good project. Yeah. Unless they got more questions. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I have said when we have the ribbon cutting, I'm going to be on that court. And now I see I have another board member that wants to be there, and I know
That'd be great.
I know Miss Kitty wants to be there, so we need a fourth.
I'm sure there's somebody else around. I bet we can
Pretty
get
sure
a
it's
foursome
big enough
made
for all
up.
4 of you, don't worry.
Yeah.
All right, so our wow. Discuss, consider, and act on expenditures and planning of our future events and projects. We have Movie in the Park coming up on September the 16th. That is going to be this Friday. Now is the time to put your name down on my list. The movie should start about 7:45, 8 o'clock. In-N-Out's showing up at 8 o'clock to serve burgers. The Realty Group, Martin Realty, will be there at 7. So that's when I plan to be there is 7. And Serge is in. Cindy is in. Anybody else thinking they're coming? Okay. All right. So we'll see y'all there for Encanto. And then we have, oh yes, where's it going to go?
Right there where the rodeo arena stuff is,
Yes?
you'll have the trees and the yards in the back.
Okay.
And you'll have the bleachers.
Oh, nice. So the screen will be on the house side? But it's not facing the house, it's going to be reflected. Okay.
North facing south, and in and out, and Martin will be able to use the parking space for us, but put the truck up in there.
Okay.
It'll be blocked off. Like parking lot. At least the part. I don't know how more will go up.
So I'm thinking when we used to have it in the other park that there's not a lot of, it's not really ADA. Mm-mm.
Yeah, hopefully this time you'll be able to people can get a little closer if they want to, or kind of seemed like you were sitting, because of the dirt, you sit farther away. This time, that's why we're hoping you won't have to eat dirt this time, you'll be able to be close.
So I have a question on that. So we're gonna have bleachers, and I'm assuming people bring their own chairs as well, or blankets, or whatever they do.
Yeah, when we had it in the other park, the bleachers weren't really usable because you brought your own chair. So I'm hoping that people know to bring their own chair, because that's what we put in the flyer, and that's what it's always been. So there's never been provided
Yeah, the
seating
bleachers
previously.
are just gonna be an extra
This
thing.
is just an extra bonus. Hey, there's some bleachers there. We're going to let you use them.
That's right.
Yes.
And In-N-Out will be in at what time?
In-N-Out starts serving at 8. So they usually show up at like 7:30.
And out there.
Yeah. So the movie will probably actually start before In-N-Out gets there, which is a little interesting. Okay. Yeah, he said 7:30 is sunset, so by 8:30. Well, and I think one year they showed up and they were ready before the time they said they started, so they just started serving. They'll be a little bit earlier than 8.
They always have been every other bit. They're gonna be staged on the First Street parking lot. Yep. That way you don't have anybody pulling up there with their lights shining into the event and all that stuff. That area there'll be blocked off as long as that trailer is and everything, and then Martin needs their spot for their stuff, they'll take that whole piece up.
Now, In-N-Out will leave before the movie's over. I mean, they always turn their lights on, and they're real quiet
But
about
they'll be
it.
pointing away from the screen.
Yes, they're very quiet.
That truck's not, I've never noticed it being that noisy.
Do we know who
Besides
lives in that
people.
house?
People are always noisy.
Well, I thought the one on that one where the arrow is, I thought those people, though, when I talked to them before, they seemed park friendly to me. But I don't know who lives in that house. Do we need to at least give them a courtesy mess? Okay. All right. Hey, we're going to have a movie there. If it's too much, let us know. We can
Come
change
over.
it next year.
Come
Come
on
on over and get a burger. Come and get a burger.
Yeah.
Friendly neighbor friend, Haslet. Okay. Next event is going to be National Night Out. Shortly after that, we will not meet before then, and we typically have a table set up at National Night Out. Runs from 6 to 8. Is that right? So if people can take a 30-minute turn at the table or an hour turn, let me know now or forever hold your peace. What hour would you like? So you want the 6? All right. Anybody else think they're going to make it that Tuesday? Oh, it's fine. So National Night Out is actually literally a national night out. It's a nationwide event where everyone gathers, policemen, the community. They have them in different, like block parties. When I lived in Fort Worth, they would block off a certain street. So there you go. It is a unique crime drug prevention evening. And it's to promote community. And so everything that is at the event has to be free. So you can't sell anything. There's no vendors allowed. I think In-N-Out is coming to that as well. So we'll have In-N-Out burgers. Several of the sponsors give away, like the dentists will come and give the kids toothbrushes. And the bank used to give out popcorn. They'd bring their popcorn machine, and they don't charge for it. It's just to say, hey, we're in your community. We have this, I don't know, is Martin Realty going to be there? Did they? And they'll come and they'll say, oh, here, this is our realty group. If you're looking for a house, choose us, So it's just basically, it's fun. I think it's really fun. And then we have, Katrina has gotten several activities, I think. There's usually a bounce house for the kids and a train, trackless train. We just pass out flyers for the events in the park, and usually Katrina gives us some stickers we can hand out that say, I love Haslet. I love Haslet Park. Yeah. So Cindy and Barbara. Tuesday, October 4th. All right. And then we have, I think we have an update here. Haslet Hustle and Fun Run. I think there were some problems with that. With the
Yes,
road
there
or
are.
something?
Haslet Parkway is a big problem with it. The contractor on that project moves into the next phase, which is everything west from Schoolhouse Road all the way west on Avondale to the edge of the city limits. And that's where they plan on starting, is right there at Schoolhouse Road, FM 156. So there will be no tap trail connection to you, most likely.
Do we
There'll
know
be
if
construction equipment and stuff all over the place right there.
do we know if Clarence can give us a different route that's just in the park? Like so many loops
Well,
equals the
I tried
miles?
playing around with how to make it, and everything ends up with, well, the fast runners are going to run over the top of everybody that's slow. That's why we always tried to have a out and a back so that they were complete separate. So them ones that are fast get gone out of the way. Those ones that want to come along slow weren't getting ran over. Everything I tried to play with kept coming back the same way. You were going to have the fast runners on top of the other ones before some of them even got started. By the time it usually worked out with starts.
How did they do it before? Like in the beginning?
Schoolhouse Road, they went all the way down. Yeah. Yeah, the last ones we did were running around here, go all the way out the road up here to the end and turn around and come back down the other lane. And that was the last one we did on that road was a night run. Through Haslet Park. Yeah, but that was before we had so many trucks and cars. Yeah, that's the problem, is finding something long enough that doesn't overlap on top of itself, but ends up in the same location. Yeah, we just don't have a spot till that gets finished. Then it's not such a big deal. That's
And they're actually starting that day, that weekend?
October 17, they plan on being over there. And right now, because of issues in the phase out farther west, it's looking like this project's broke up. This part is phase 2, but phase 2 is broke up into 5 parts, with 5 actually being a 5A and a 5B section. And 5A and 5B were the Haslet Schoolhouse Road and FM 156 area. But now those are moving up. Another section that was actually phase 2 and phase 3 portion out to the west is moving backwards. It's going to come later in the process. So yeah, they're going to be over there. And the biggest problem is going to be is that hill. That's where they're going to be taking the hill down there by the school. So there is going to be big machines all over that area. So it's going to be a mess.
I just wonder, this is probably not a good idea, but I try to think outside the box sometimes. We have 3 new neighborhoods going in. Are there streets in any of those neighborhoods that are where the street is developed, but the homes aren't really sold and built yet, that might be able to be used?
Not really. Most of them already have parts, or part of them are being built on. Yeah, so you have construction and stuff, and it's there all day
Yeah.
Saturday too, trying to get these houses done.
Yeah.
Now, and most of them, the biggest deal is you don't have a good start finish line area where you got a big open area with a lot of parking to park everybody so that everybody can get in and take off. And there's no big area like we could use community park.
Could we use a track at the high school or a middle school?
If we wanted to go out of town.
There's not any in Haslet.
Right.
But that's a lot of times around the track. And those fast ones will still end up running them down.
I was going to say, then you're running into the same problem where they're going to lap each other too.
Yeah.
So.
Now, theirs is wider, than our trail is. But yeah, it's just difficult making it fit anywhere that we have currently until they're out of our way.
So what are you saying? That we need to postpone it?
That's what I would say.
Until next year, probably.
The tap trail will run along it. The distance we will have is we will have one intersection we will have to block off, but because it's Schoolhouse Road, all we have to do is point them towards, you got to go 156. We block it off all the way up there for a temporary. Well, the road should be finished July 2024. How long this piece will be down shouldn't be as long, except for signalization is going to drag some parts of this out. Oh, yeah. All on that section of sidewalk will all totally go away. Temporarily, it'll all be out of there because it has to all be rebuilt. No. Chances are that part will be open possibly as early as next year, a year from now, but the rest of it won't. But the tap trail part should be, if everything goes correctly. The road itself will not be open, so we actually probably will be able to use part of the new road because there will not be anybody on it yet, on that section. So there's next year, I mean, talking to them today about it, next year, there's some possibility, for some other possible things that could happen for us to be able to do. Because they should have section 2, zone 3, which is up to the school and up to and through schoolhouse to 156 completed as far as the road pavement by October next year. So we may be able to use part of Haslet Parkway partway out. We won't be able to go too far down, but far enough out to make 3 miles and back.
So here's my question. If you loop around that loop less than a mile in the park, because you got to do some wig-wag figure 8 to get to the mile.
Mm-hmm.
But if you loop around that, you come under the bridge, you go down 156, you cross across to Schoolhouse Road, and you turn around at Schoolhouse Road, wouldn't you only have to do that twice to get to a 5K?
Yeah, but you're talking
One big
about,
loop up and back.
but you're talking about all that traffic running on 8 foot wide.
But there's not that many people that come.
That's the part I can't tell you. I'm just telling you what
I don't think
I've
we've ever
seen
had
in
more
the
than
past.
120 people show up.
You know, that we've had trouble with people running. Even when we went out Schoolhouse Road or Killer Haslet North, we had trouble sometimes. Just depending on how big a group we had.
Well, could we not do a 5K, but do the fun run, and what's the distance around? I guess could we just do would we want to just do the fun run? No? Okay. Well, then I will make a motion that we cancel our Haslet Hustle for 2022 and reconsider it again for 2023.
You see how, James, you can go underneath that bridge and come across and then go all the way over where it meets Schoolhouse Road? Along where the pediatric office is. You know, you run down Protected and then you cross over that little bridge area. You can't go through that section? Oh, okay. I was thinking just
Most
Schoolhouse Road was not accessible.
No. Whether they'll tear the trail up day 1 or day 10, I don't know. I just know that they're going to have stuff in there. What all they're going to have there, I don't know.
This is Cindy. I second Barbara's motion.
All in favor? I abstain. I'm not in favor, so I abstain. Cancel. All right, Christmas in the Park, December 3rd, 2022. I think we have everything that we need for now. Is that right? Do we need to make any decisions specifically?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The vendor application has not yet been published. So for 4th of July, you guys elected to do $100 for food truck. That would be, that was new in July. So I haven't published this yet. If you want to confirm the rate, it's $50 for a space the way it is now. Do we want to add the 100 for food trucks or no? That's
I'll give my opinion. I don't think so. I don't feel like we had very many food trucks at 4th of July, and we wish that there were a few more. Maybe more would come if it was a little less expensive. I don't know. That would be my guess. Do we count on that money for the income of the event? Like, do we need to charge more?
I mean, you have a budget for income, but
And it's Christmas, and it could get canceled because of weather. And people might not want to spend $100. So.
Lucked out. I didn't know that.
I think we can leave it at 50. I don't know, what does anyone else think?
I think 50. I want to encourage more food trucks to come to Haslet. In fact, I want to make sure the lobster truck gets on the list. Gets an
Okay.
invitation.
So how about a motion to set the vendor fees for Christmas in the park at $50?
This is Barbara. I move to set the vendor fees for $50 for Christmas in the Park for December 3rd, 2022.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Second,
Do we have less other vendors at that price? I'm just curious.
we generally have the most vendors at 4th of July, so yes, less for Christmas.
No, my question is, was there a difference in price whether you're a food truck or whether you're just a regular vendor?
For 4th of July, there was for the first time.
And that was the 50 versus 100? But previous years, there was no difference?
Right.
Okay.
Well, we required
was
that if
Chris-
you were going to exceed your space, you had to buy 2 spaces.
Of course.
But yeah,
Sure,
so we called it premium vendor.
sure. Well, and I feel like Christmas is more of a freer event. We provide more free things, don't we? Like the snow globe and the train ride and the Santa.
Yeah.
So less vendors wouldn't even be that. Anyways, I was just asking. So I have a Christmas in the Park question.
Okay.
So we had and I don't know if David, you can help me answer this. So we had a surplus or a budgeted amount for Wild West Fest from this year that we were not able to complete of $20,000. And last year we asked council to amend the budget to approve a nice Christmas tree that is wonderful. But that nice, wonderful Christmas tree was there by itself last year because half of our other lights didn't work. And we found out from James and David doing a lot of research that they're not really restringable. So we basically just need to buy new ones. And I have videos from years ago where I would take my kids and we would sit in the park and I would record them, and the little singing trees are really cute, and David programmed the song. And I know my kids are older and that times change, but nobody really wanted to go because half the time they weren't on and the circuits were tripped. And I know we're fixing that, but even when they were on, half the lights were out. So my suggestion was, if you guys thought this was a good idea or not, to allot for budgetary purchase of just new lights in general, whatever, I don't know, David and James need to be replaced. They gave us a spreadsheet a couple months ago, or at least a year ago, everything that was working and not working, what we had and what we used to have, and it's kind of shady looking. And so if you guys thought that we could ask council to amend that budget to just transfer those funds like we did last year, but instead of buying a Christmas tree, we would use it to buy those little light thingies to, line the pathway and to sing to our radio station. Yeah.
So we're talking about no Christmas tree?
No, we have the Christmas
Oh,
tree.
we do have Christmas tree.
We have this huge Christmas tree that we purchased. What I'm talking about is we have $20,000 that we didn't use.
Right.
And it was in the budget for Wild West Fest. There's not going to be a Wild West Fest this year because it's passed,
Yeah.
and we voted against it for this year.
I remember.
But we still have that $20,000 that's sitting there.
I don't,
And to use that money to purchase something that we would also use this year made more sense to me. Like we did it
Yeah,
last year and it
So
worked out really well.
basically upgrade the lighting that we currently have today.
Replace the
Or-
lighting.
Or upgrade, add on.
Yeah, I don't know if you were in the park last year at all.
No.
So in the park, what happens is David has these really cool, huge, like probably 8 or 9 foot wired Christmas trees, and their mouths move. And I'm sorry, I probably deleted off my phone from years before, but I kept them on my phone forever. And so there's a radio station that plays, and these little guys sing. Well, then there's also like a Grinch, and there was one that there was a teeter-totter, and the lights would look like a teeter-totter. But last year only there was a teeter but no totter
No totter.
because it was gone. And then I don't know what else was missing, but there's just a lot. When the lights go out, we can't replace them like we thought we might be able to. The whole piece just needs to be replaced. So I'm just talking about letting the guys go in and say, these don't work. Can we just get new ones?
Yeah.
And we've been piecing them out a little bit at a time, buying new, the light posts candy canes and the bells, we buy 2 a year to replace them as they get bad over time. But we don't really have a big amount of money to say, let's replace all of the lights. But now that we know they need to be replaced, each year we can say, okay, and they're about, what, $600 each?
Depends
600 to 4,000 for one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on what you buy and how you buy them. Yes, Christmas done
But
right.
We also have to remember that most of these
It
light
would be,
fixtures.
I'd have to talk to Marcy how they could do it. Because I believe she has it set currently, that money is rolling into next year's, your
She
beginning
did, and
balance.
that's really cool, but we can use it for something this year that's useful.
And right. What I'm wondering though is, should she amend the budget to put this money over into Christmas decorations right off the bat? So October 1, you could already have everything pre-done. You could technically order because they're not going to come due until into the new budget year. But
Has
that'd be a
council already
discussion.
approved that final budget?
That would be a discussion with, Marcy to see how would be the best. I mean, like, we do certain things at the end of the year. When we get a order made up, we put a purchase order to it, so that basically that locked that money in this year. But depending on how she's transferring the money over, if she's already got it planned so that if she took it out of this year, it would change what money you have to spend next year.
I just thought we had to ask permission to do that. Because we did last year, so.
Well, yeah, because right now, since the budget's not totally set, anything last minute can be done, but it's got to be done like ASAP. I mean, we're right at the end of it. It's got to be, because I know I have a couple of things that she's doing some minor changes on some of mine for certain things. And so I can, that's definitely a question I can talk to Marcy about, how she would recommend, because she may say, okay, instead of carrying that money forward where it's going now, she would carry it and add it straight to Christmas, so that's where it would come out of right away. And then we could figure out what we wanted to order and go ahead and place the orders, because by the time the bill comes due, the new budget's going to be here. I mean, we're almost on it now.
And we have to remember too that some of these Christmas decorations we've been using for like 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have kept them going as long as
Some of these are still some of
possible.
the very first
It's time to shoot the
original
dog and,
that we've ever had.
yeah.
Some of them have been around a
So,
long time.
If we have the
I
extra
would like to
funds,
make a
I'd say
proposal
do
to
it.
the board. Why don't we pick out items that we could purchase with that? Let David check and see if those funds will be available. And then if we can't do it with this 20,000 from the Wild West Fest, then we'll have a list to go to right after the budget gets done.
So my only concern is what David said, is that it's last minute. And I feel like council's going to make their,
Well, this is how Marcy handles the money that's already there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't understand how Marcy can make a decision on behalf of the council. If we have it budgeted for something, how can she then move it without?
What she's doing, say like right now, you've got that $20,000. Right now is just going into your starting budget next year. You've already told her what you wanted the money to go to next year, but that's where it's going into.
It
So you
doesn't
have
add to our
more
amount.
money.
She keeps saying that, but if we ask for $40,000 budget, they're not going to give us 60 because we had 20 extra. They're still going to give us the 40 that we asked.
You're still getting 40, yes.
We're not gonna get the other
But that 20
20.
rolled into next year's already.
But it goes into a general fund, not into the budget. So what I'm asking is to allocate these funds to get permission to use them to purchase Christmas decorations that are
And
dead.
that's what I'm talking about, is talking to her how she, because
If
what
we
she would
have-
do,
If we
she
have
would,
funds
it's
available,
it's basically called encumbering. What she's doing with them, she encumbers them to Christmas in the park.
So why
as
didn't she do
long
that
as it's-
last year when they had us request council to amend the budget?
Because you were doing it in a mid-year. Once the budget's set, see, the budget isn't complete yet until they make their final approval and it goes forward. That's coming.
But what's the disadvantage to us asking for an amendment before the year ends?
None. Right now is the time, just like us.
'Cause if we
We
ask-
have any minor change, we're supposed to do that now. So she
So
can
my
have
thing is
that
we
in
have
there.
to ask council, so we have to get their permission. They could say no. And if they say no, then we can say, okay, Marcy, is there another way that we can allocate these
No,
funds?
it's just like now.
But
James
if
is
we
gonna
just assume
go
Marcy can do it and council doesn't have a
to-
chance, we've lost it.
Like now, we've got $10,000 in a fund right now. That's not going away. It's rolling over to next year. But if we want to take that 10,000 today say
It
it's
does go
for a new water meter, and we want to spend it next year for a new valve, all we have to tell her is that's what we want to do with it. She will allocate it to the valve instead of the meter. But the money is still the same money. You just carry it over to next year to be spent. So you don't lose your money, it just rolls to start your next year. Beginning balance. Mhm. Balance. Yes. Yeah.
I've got that on my list already.
Oh, no.
All right.
Yeah, every 5 years or whatever it is,
You're going to
those
replace
go
something.
away and you
I
start
agree.
over again. Yeah. I mean, technically, some of them, they've lasted way longer
Beyond
than
their-
anybody would
yes.
have ever dreamed.
So is it reasonable to pick 5? Do you think? Is right. That's 1,075. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have.
Can you go back a screen?
Teeter totter.
That's one while ago.
Oh,
That's the thought.
oh,
Mm-hmm. Now, but I do know I got 3 ads the other day going on about getting your orders in now, and I mean that was just 2 days ago that I got another deal sent from these guys, so I'm assuming they're still taking for this year. I think some of it too is they probably have some they've already made up and they're trying to be sure they're getting them out the door. Those guys though, yeah, but that was
was a
a
different
what is it,
company.
Evangeline or whatever? They are slow. I don't know what it is about theirs, but theirs are always slow. These guys have usually beat every time we've ordered from them, it came here before we thought it would. They told us 6 weeks, it was here in 4.
So how many units do we have currently? Units? I mean, if we want to replace them every X amount of years,
How many do we have now?
This is the list David gave us a while back of what's working, what's not working.
Yes.
24?
That's about right.
And this is, I don't know if you wanted to see, this is kind of a layout of Old Town where they go.
Thank you for coming, ladies. Thank you for coming.
The reason I ask is if we're gonna want to replace them hypothetically every 3 to 4 or 5 years, we should plan on, we're gonna replace 4 this year, 4
Right.
next year.
Yeah,
I mean, I think the
that's
reality is
what
you can only
he's
place
saying,
one.
yeah.
They're so expensive.
And then just get in the habit of doing a rotation with
Correct.
them, yeah.
Yeah,
What does the
oldest ones
Santa
out.
and elves look like to you? Second one down, Santa and elves. Oh, these are all like groups of them?
Yeah, we had a similar Santa workshop. They just changed somewhat how it fit.
Right, the conveyor belt, yeah. And most of the time, most of that's been working.
Now, I don't know how long these
There it
may
is
last,
down there
'cause
at the bottom.
all the old ones were incandescent. So these are
LEDs.
LED, so they may last a little bit longer. I don't know. Or they may burn out twice as fast. I do
Well,
not know.
If we find out we don't need to repair that set, we can buy
Oh, that's
one
like
new
the one
one
we
and
had
then
right
work
there.
on
That
it for
was-
the next year. Is a hindrance, right?
Yeah. Yes. Customized light strings is where the money's at. Yeah. Yeah, you retire a third or a
Yeah.
quarter of whatever you have
That's
every
what we're
year and
talking about
replace.
doing. Yeah.
That way you're always replacing.
Put them in rotation with our pole decoration.
And the good thing about it,
Yes.
if you get into that habit, then you can pick those ones up at the end of season, because they always send out a catalog every year and they got this many of these, and they're like, I've seen them as low as, 35% of what they originally were at times. Just depends on
Well-
what it is. So then you can actually get ahead.
Can we ask Marcy to figure out what we can do? And
Sure.
possibly if we're not gonna be able to get them for Christmas in the park this year, have those funds available so we can order them the day after Christmas in the park, or the day
Mhm.
after Christmas, or
Oh,
first
yeah.
of January.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe we can get several that we might not could have afforded by paying full price on them.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I would be talking to her about.
What if
Yes.
it comes out of city sign?
That's where it does now. But she could set up one specifically for this, and then it's just a constant revolving every year. Just rolls over and you got that money to spend every single time. Bam, bam, bam. You don't have to think, it's just there.
I think that Wild West Fund would be a really nice start to do that with,
Oh, yeah, because you could,
if we
I
could
mean,
just rename
average
it.
one of these things is roughly 1,000. I mean, you could almost replace.
Could we go
Almost.
ahead and make a motion that if that money can be expended, to maybe give a list of 4 that you could go ahead and order if that money can be used right
'Cause
now?
We would want to try to call as soon as possible.
I mean, I think the teeter-totter one is just so cute that would be one I would want to replace. The ones I liked are the marching toy soldier, the teeter-totter, and either,
Christmas cow and lasso.
and either the jolly snowman or the snow couple. You know, I was trying to get different things. So that, like, the first one is kids on the teeter-totter, then the toy soldiers, and then a snowman one. I don't remember where it was. It was Jolly Snowman or Snow. I think it was called Snow. It was either Snowman Couple or Snow Couple.
Personally, I like the Christmas cow and the lasso elf.
The which one?
Christmas cow.
Oh,
and
I
the
did
elf
too. I did too.
lassoing,
I had
yeah.
that one there. That one's $9.25. So that would be 4 if we have the teeter-totter, the marching toy soldier, and I forgot the full name. I just wrote cow, and I did my. Yeah. And then the snow couple. Yes, that was one of them, but I want y'all to see the snow couple, because they were really cute too. Don't know where they were. You put couple, maybe, yeah.
No couple. There
No
they are.
couple.
Yeah.
Look how cute they are.
Mm-hmm. Almost. Yeah, the manger scene.
Oh,
most of
we
them
need
are,
a new
most
manger
of them
scene.
are pretty much dead. Those are really rough.
No manger scene? Not even if it's donated? Okay.
We have
All right,
a
I'd
certain
like to make a
soul
motion then.
within the community who tends to come by, and that's one of their big things.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that if we have these funds available to us, that we go ahead and order the marching soldier set, Christmas cow and lasso elf, the snow couple, and the teeter-totter set. Correct.
I second it.
All in favor? None opposed?
That Santa helicopter was pretty darn cute. Santa helicopter.
I would say let's get a small handful and wait till the discounts come around. If we have the budget for it, we can add prices.
We can do that.
Do we have anything else for Christmas? Did we only approve 1,000 last time, or do we actually need to approve another 300?
Okay, this is Barbara. I move that we add an additional $300 for the Polar Express train.
This is Cindy. I second.
All in favor? None opposed?
Oh, sorry, I didn't have.
So this is Sarah. I'll motion that we approve $425 for hay bales for the snow slide.
I'll second it.
Okay, who's second, sir?
All in
Hold on
favor?
now,
None opposed?
Barbara made the motion for the $300 train, and the second was Cindy.
Oh, sorry. We should probably let you
Thank you, I don't write that down.
We're like, let's go.
Got that, and then third, fourth, five.
I mean, you
And
can't
then
ride
the-
as fast as we can talk.
The last item for Christmas, I think, is Yes, the picture I just put up, and David's gonna
Oh,
take
yes.
this item.
Did we ever get any? Okay, go ahead.
So there's your picture of your wrap pecan being down.
So pretty. David's gonna do it?
No, we're gonna tell you about the price quotes that we got. The farmer's market, across the road over here, their quote was $6,100 for up and down.
Those are
That-
the existing lights.
That was
they
with the
store.
existing light.
Didn't some of those go out last year?
Yeah, we replaced it. No, they store them for us.
They have them. Yeah, no, they have them. Our other quote came from Christmas Lights North Texas, and it was 15,000 if they use your light, 21,000 if they buy all new lights.
Do we have another one?
Then we have Price Right Professional Landscaping and Tree Service, which y'all may remember was a past member
Yeah,
of your
Erica's,
board, Erica's.
Haslet resident.
And if you use your existing light, it is $1,680. $1,680.
And if they provide the light,
If they provide the lights, $3,120,
Which
win.
of course they,
which is what they would prefer because then they warranty
they know the
them.
lights work. I mean, I don't know how we can not take the $3,000 if they're giving us new lights and just say, thank you, Farmers Market, hold our lights one more year.
I mean, I'm like y'all. That's
Did they say how many lights are in that package? Does it
that
say?
is 80 strands of LED light, 23 feet long each.
and then they warranty them if we buy, use their lights, and then if they
Yes.
don't, then they don't. So half of it goes out.
Yeah, if something goes wrong, they come out and replace it. So they warranty it.
No, if we pay the $3,000.
If you use their lights, if you do the whole package with them, they will warranty the lights.
Right, basically, essentially, we're buying.
And so if we do that this year, we pay the three.
Correct, we're renting.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
renting.
it's basically you're renting lights.
But if we're paying $6,000 to put up lights we already bought, we might as well just keep buying them every year and have somebody put them up for the price to buy
Yeah,
them.
that's kind of, it seems like a fairly reasonable price. Just
Price.
price, right, professional landscaping and tree service.
Okay, this is Barbara. I move that we pay Price Right, etc. $3,120 to decorate the large tree in our park.
This is Cindy, I second.
All in favor? Not opposed?
Now the only thing I don't know is, do we get our lights from them? I don't
So
know.
are they not going to store them anymore? Because we can wrap other trees with it.
I
I mean, honestly, I don't know if we can ask for the next meeting if they are going to wrap that big tree. And again, I don't know how we go and say, I'm sorry, yours was too expensive. We've used somebody else. Can we have our lights back? But you know what I mean? Then the question is, if they're already going to be out there wrapping the big tree, how much would they charge us to wrap the rest of those trees? Because it is a pain in the rear end.
that is true.
And I've done it more than once, but it is a pain in the rear end.
It is a pain. That is a lot of work.
And whether your kids help you or they don't help you, me and Cindy putting those things up, it is not fun. And even when David and James help us, it's still not fun. Oh, because that one big tree has that mistletoe on it. That big tree grows. Can we ask them for an additional quote to wrap the rest of the tree? I mean, we still have some lights in trash can
No,
buckets. They're what? They're gone?
Yeah. That would be possible.
I mean, if they're only charging us $1,000 to wrap the big tree, maybe they'll charge us
Cause it's
$1,000
probably gonna be pretty close to what they were doing with this one.
to wrap the
16,
rest.
Well, on the big, they
Cause they're
wrap
not-
way up. On the
'cause they're
other
not as
trees,
big.
We just wrap it front.
Yes, and we just pass it to the next person and then get dizzy trying to go around in circles. Can't wait for you to join us, Serge. And
You
Matt
can ask. Once,
and Matt's kids.
I guess once Cindy knows, you know, what's going on as far as getting the lights, I guess we can ask. As long as they're giving us our lights and
I mean, even if not, we can still use the ones we have in the buckets. But if they're willing to do it, no offense, if they're willing to do it for $1,000, and it's helpful to y'all to get those lights up and out of the way, and it saves me from falling over and stepping in ant beds and figuring out which ones work and don't, and if the power's on and not on. It's a lot of fun, though. Don't get me wrong. It really is. It's fun. It's really fun, but it's nice to have the help.
Can ask for another quote, bring it back.
Okay.
Sure.
Anything else for Christmas, or we're good?
You guys.
I do not. Easter egg hunt, we're good.
We need a date for the Easter egg hunt.
Date for the Easter egg hunt.
Sunday is April the 9th.
I thought we said tentatively. We said April 1st. That was our tentative date. Yeah, because I have it written right here in my calendar. Egg hunt for question.
Okay, you guys usually do it 2 weeks before, but
That is 2 weeks before. Oh, no, it's not.
March 18th, March 25th.
April 9th is Sunday. There's no school on the 7th for Good Friday, so I don't think we pick that weekend of Easter. So the weekend before is the 1st, and that's what we had tentatively talked about, but then the weekend before that would be the 25th. If you go a week before, you're in spring. So spring break is the 12th through the 20-something, depending on which school district you're in. So we either have the 25th or the 1st, basically. Right?
Well, who is available? Maybe go with that. I don't know.
Or do you have a preference?
And what do you do besides looking?
So it's like an hour of chaos, and everyone just runs and gets eggs. It's really
So we
not
need
that bad.
about 2 hours to put them out.
Yeah, it does take about an hour or two to put them out there. But we had a lot of volunteers this last year that helped us. Well,
So we talking about like
helped us-ish.
we're talking like plastic eggs and all
Plastic filled eggs. We get them pre-filled. We don't have to fill them.
that. I would think the first would be better versus the 25th. I think the 25th is way too early. It's like having Christmas in
In
October,
July?
you know. So
Is
it's
that
closer
built
to
in
Easter.
save us a rain date, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, that's
Y'all-
April
it's
1st
up to
too.
the board.
Easter Sunday.
I would be okay with any date.
Forever. Yeah.
The problem is
You can have it the second. That's what we did the last year, because I didn't. Can't control the weather.
Board unanimously decided to first.
so if it rains, we'll say April Fools.
Saturday, April 1. Okay, that works. Then Memorial Day, that one's easy, May 29th, and then fireworks, we pick a date, and we have the quote for the fireworks.
We had talked about July 3rd at the last meeting because it's a Monday that most people would have off.
Friday,
The
June
following
30th,
day.
you mean.
No, July 3rd. Oh, I'm not saying we have to. I'm just saying that's what I wrote down from last
So
time.
here's your pricing.
Let's
June
hear it.
30th, for the same fireworks show that we had this last year, would be the same price, $17,250 on Friday, June 30th. The Monday quote is $20,000. City holiday is Tuesday, July. So that's the day we. So you'll come first on off.
Will you be off on Tuesday the 4th or Monday the 3rd? Or both?
As far as I know, it's just Tuesday.
I don't ever want to schedule it on a non-day off, so I have to work too, and I want to check all the time.
I don't actually really care. I'm going to be there either one, so y'all just tell me.
And we did Friday last year, right? Or this
Yeah.
year. Let's stick with the Friday. Be consistent.
June 30th. Save $3,000 on fireworks. Oh, motion for the fireworks.
This is Barbara. I move that we accept the bid for Friday, June 30th. Is that right?
Yes.
Friday, June 30th, for the bid that was submitted in the amount of, and you fill that in.
$17,250.
This is Cindy. I second.
All in favor? None opposed? Good. So we have yoga and Tai Chi, and there was a question on Facebook about yoga not being when it was supposed to be or something. I don't really know. But I did respond to that person. I reached out to Cindy, who had I guess there's a yoga group Facebook page. And so I linked that to our yoga announcement on our Facebook page. Although we don't sponsor them, we sponsor the event. But whoever leads, I think the leader is the one that has that page, is it not? It's more accurate. It just keeps, if it's canceled for some reason, like when there's a meeting in the room here, or if there's something in the park. Okay. And then they update that. So it's linked on there now for yoga. Oh, God. Well, that's not too bad. All right, so other projects and ideas.
I have one. I wrote it
Okay.
down.
Go for it.
Well, I just want to bring this up because when I was driving home from Sandera Ranch one day, I always kind of drive to the park and just to see what's going on. There were 4 cars parked up by the pavilion, and so I on the grass, and so I stopped and I was very nice and just said, "I am so glad y'all are here enjoying the park." I said, "Do all 4 of these vehicles belong to y'all?" Because I didn't want to talk to one person if it wasn't the same group. And all 4 vehicles did belong to that group that was using the picnic tables. And so I just asked if they would mind moving them to the parking lot. And they said, no, that would be fine. And I said, if we park on the grass all the time, it's just going to ruin it. So I just wondered and I said, we appreciate you coming and using the park. we just appreciate it if you'll use the parking spot. So could there be a sign put up somewhere near the pavilion that they need to park their vehicles in a
Where were
park?
they parked?
They were parked up
There's the map right
behind.
here.
Okay. Well, I know. It doesn't matter. Okay, where's the pavilion? Okay.
That's the
Right here.
bathroom.
Okay. So they had just drawn a ribbon right over the curb, and we had two people parked and two.
You're pretty dense. You decide to go over the curb and park west.
Right, when the parking lot, you know, it's
2 feet
not
away.
very far. I mean, and I understand when you're got a lot of stuff. I mean, it was a pretty big
Unloading.
group. They want to unload, pull up there just like we do for our events, unload, and then go park. Just don't leave them parked there to ruin the grass. So, I mean, and they were very nice back. You know, I always make sure I'm very polite and kind and welcome them to our park. But I just wish I don't want people to tear it up.
Go ahead and pour some sand in the fountains while you're at it.
And so I don't know if there could be a sign posted on the back of the building so that when they pull up there, they can, I mean, I don't know what the solution is, but, and where are the park rules written? I mean,
Right where they were parked.
oh, well, no, not where they were. Okay. So, and see, there probably just needs to be one maybe on the back of that.
Or they just don't care. They just flat out didn't care. And putting a sign
We weren't
won't do
going to care if there was
anything.
a sign there.
Or maybe we can put spikes out there, you know,
Spikes.
Well, these were not teenagers. They were, I usually think it's more, I mean, it may not be.
Some bias.
Judging, teenagers unfairly.
You are.
But these parents were, I mean, these adults were very responsive to my request. I mean, the lady immediately got in her car. I did not go back around to make sure because I thought that would be rude. But, right, what was I going to do? So I could have called the sheriff. Is that what you're saying? Oh,
Mike could have given him a ticket.
okay.
They will come down and talk to you, though.
Yeah.
'Cause I've had them called on me. We were working on the memorial,
Right.
and the parent got very upset because I drove my car with all the tools and rakes and all that, and the mayor was actually helping us that day, so it was rather comical. But it was okay. I said that's okay. We
Right.
want people to do stuff like that.
Well, and I probably would not have stopped if it had been one vehicle parked there. But with 4, yeah. Oh, I was. And that's why I made sure I was very polite and kind and just, made sure I thanked them for coming and enjoying the park. It looked like I said, it looks like y'all are having so much fun, Yeah.
So I have another interest, kind of going back to the Christmas in the Park. Y'all remember those toy soldiers that we love? Do we want to try to get them again for Christmas in the park? The stilt walkers that look like toy soldiers that are. I don't think we did. We didn't have a price. So it looks like she's going to honor. She said she was helping us. Anyway, she said $600 for two toy soldiers for 2 hours. Everyone was taking pictures with them. I mean, we were taking pictures with them. It was fun. And they were very kind. Like the people that were the actual stilt walkers were very kind. They were very interactive with the families and the kids. And I thought they were very kind. They both smiled a lot and, you know, they looked like they enjoyed what they were doing. So
I'd like to make a motion that we get the stilt walkers back for $600. Right? Is that correct?
Yes.
For Christmas in the park this year.
I'll second that.
all right, all in favor? None opposed? I'm guessing. Did you oppose? Barbara, were you yes?
Yes. Okay, sorry.
Okay. I don't think we have any other projects.
Okay.
We have one more.
For next year, depending on if we continue to get these funds from the houses being built and all this stuff, I think we need to start thinking about looking at the other playground equipment in community park. And possibly doing the same thing with the surface that we did with the other one.
So, if I remember conversations from last year, there was going to be a park survey that went out. Is that, I guess that's not going to be this year, that would have to be next year, or maybe there's a bigger story to that. But
David?
It will be coming, I can't tell you exactly when next year. The city council, P&Z are working on updating the city's comprehensive plan, which the park plan is a part of. So at some point in this upcoming year, there will be something going out for that. 'Cause I know tomorrow night they start that whole process of, I think tomorrow night's the master of the land use plan, and then once that gets done, then I've got water studies, sewer studies, rate studies, impact fee studies that we're going to be working on, but I know there's going to be thoroughfare plans, all kinds of things coming for the next year. And
The
the
only reason why
park
I
plan
mentioned
is
that
one of them.
just because there's undeveloped park space, so you put it into existing and rehab or.
Another item that was, I received a phone call, and that's why our guests, part of why they were here. They had asked if we were considering doing a food truck program, and that came from the city council person, and Kitty called me about that. And I just explained that from my view, that was something that I was very interested in and was pursuing. But with the shortage of city staff right at this time, I felt like it was inappropriate to do that. And so that until city council approves, or whoever approves additional staff, and they have somebody to manage park events, I don't think it is appropriate to do that. Yeah, and so, and they understood once I explained that. So that's why I took it off the agenda. I mean, I was going to put it on the agenda and I withdrew it because it just isn't appropriate right now.
David?
You may not have to worry about it. That EDC is going to be looking at that as a project, possibly on property they own, so that it's not even part of the parks having to deal with it. They will be dealing with the whole project. Properties that the EDC already own. They're just getting, they're in the first blush of actually getting started talking about it, because they're even talking of, I mean, a place that would actually be set up with parking, with benches, with restrooms, and all the things that, so it would be more of a standard weekly. There would be so many trucks, so many trucks, so many trucks, on a regular basis.
Okay. So Cindy will, well, future agenda. Any other ideas that anyone had for the park? We're good? All right. The fields, and I'm just going to jump right ahead because I just remembered something. My sweet friend James sent me to the park the other day when I was at the library. And if my phone battery hadn't died, I would have loved to have shown you the pictures. That the ADA swing is in the park, and it is wonderful. I feel like a plastic, swing back. So have you seen it?
I was making comments before the meeting.
Oh, okay,
I've
okay.
been to the park now, drove by. It's like always in use, so it's awesome to see. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that swing is there. Are we waiting for anything else?
The other swing came, there's the 88 one, there's
Yes.
that little bucket swing, that's there. Yeah.
Okay. So when I was there was only the two regular swings.
There's 2 regular swings, toddler swing, and the 88 swing. Yeah. 4.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute, there were 2.
Total of 4
Four,
on that,
okay.
on that set. 2 standards and a toddler and a,
And I stood by those shorter, like the kid swings. I don't know. I didn't have my kids with me, and I didn't sit on them. I thought they were kind of high. Is that on purpose? Is that designed to be high? Like the little, this swingy. It seems like it was high off the ground.
Yes, because it gets rutted out.
Okay.
So, yeah.
yeah.
But to me, it's fun. I made the comment that the only time I've seen the regular swings in use is when a parent's sitting there with the kids in the lap anyway.
Oh, okay.
And then the kid swing I see in use all the time.
Well, you have to remember, y'all approved solid surface for that
Yes,
exact
yes,
place
yes.
next year. That's one of the things we'll be getting some quotes together, coming forward with that project for Gamble Park next year. Try to get those taken care of.
Anything else on the fields that we need to know about?
You will be seeing Nance Field concession stand in about 3 weeks or so with a new paint job. Some boards fixed on it and a new paint job finally. And so far, mostly the fire station fields, irrigation's back up and running well. Grass is looking much better now that the weather's cooled off some, so the grass is doing really well. And then, yeah, everything else is right after the new year, since y'all approved those project funding. Those will be starting to get pricing and working towards all those projects.
Anything else? Do we have anything else? I don't think we had anything from last. We're talking about the multi-purpose volleyball court, but that's just kind of tabled, right?
No, that's on one of the lists of things that y'all are putting money in, is to solid surface that volleyball court to make it where you can do other things on it. And I've ran into a couple of groups that actually play out there that they like playing in the sand, but they said, oh, if it was solid, a regular volleyball type solid surface, they said that's better in many ways for them. They don't have to worry about waiting. No, it's rained a little bit. Well, we can't get on it. Oh, we can't do this because it's too wet. They said that would be fine with them. That wouldn't bother them a bit.
Is there a different solid surface for volleyball than others?
It's
Oh.
similar like tennis court. That's not just, a piece of solid hard concrete. I mean, that's an actual surface.
Oh, okay.
It's got the volleyball one has a little bit of spring to it. I don't know how else to say it.
Okay.
It's sort of soft,
Cushion?
but it's not soft. If you fell on it, you're still going to know you fell and got hurt. And that's what the one told me. He said if that was not sand, if it was a solid one, they would quit diving and they wouldn't have them getting hurt as often because they quit diving so much. No. Yeah. Yeah, the high school kids think that sand is the greatest thing in the world because they liked it. But these were a bit more of a mixed group. There was some teenagers, but there was some others that are old enough to know a little better than, we can't couldn't do without a day off work because we fell and broke our leg or did something stupid.
Anything else? We're good? All right, the next board meeting will be on October the 12th, and Cindy will not be in attendance at that meeting. So if any of the three of you are not able to make it, please let me or Katrina know as soon as possible, because we'll have to reschedule it. We have to have 4.
You have one more, right? Yeah.
Okay. If any of the three of you know that you're not coming, just let me know. Okay. And we will adjourn at 9:24.
This conference is no longer being recorded.